Hello everybody and welcome back to CRL Legends Division. It is round 3 today and we're in Spain. 33 laps of racing to complete 12. Someone has just left. But yeah. 33 laps of racing to come tonight in Barcelona. So, without further ado, we will get going into qualifying in just a moment's time. So, we will wait just a second as we get up the Constructors Championship, ready to go through the Constructors, which is interesting at the minute, but we'll get to that in a second's time. So, whilst we wait to be able to re-invite the missing driver, Williams lead the championship on 43 points, 7 points ahead of Red Bull, who are on 36, and it's Alpine on 35 points. Behind them is Sauber on 28, then Ferrari on 18, Mercedes on 15, McLaren on 12. They're in a close battle for 5th at the moment. There's Aston Martin and Racing Bulls, both on 6 points. Has yet to score this season, but that can all change in a matter of laps. With tonight in the Haas, DJ Taylor, he drove last Wednesday in the Elite Division and won that race, so hopefully he can repeat that today. But we have Thomas in the Mercedes out on track first. And as well as that, drivers' standings, we'll go through that at the end of qualifying, so keep an eye. I'll keep an ear out for that one, but we'll get through the qualifying session before we get to that. We're doing good, Daniel, thank you. I guess you carry for. I don't even know who the other Ferrari driver is, or other drivers drove for Ferrari, if there is anyone this season. I cannot remember, I'm only 3 weeks into the season. But with Thomas here coming into the last couple of corners, ready to go onto the first push lap of this qualifying session today. And onto the lap he as well, right on board, down, main straight down towards turn 1, braking just before the 15 meter mark. That's the car turned in nicely through the first 2 corners. Now so long right hander for the turn 3. Easy to run a bit wide with unstable nicely through there. End of sector 1, 21.733 through the first sector. Now it's down into turn 5. And now bit of a kink in the road for turn 6, then turn 7 and 8 uphill. Easy to invalidate that. Now into turn 9, long right hander onto the back straight. DRS is now open as he makes the run down towards turn 10. Again, the car nice 51.1 through the first 2 sectors, and now it's through 11 and 12, and now down towards the penultimate corner, penultimate corner, flat out, final corner, a little bit of a lift, but pretty much flat out, no braking needed. And now burn the rest of the battery into the lines at 1 minute 12.9. For the opening lap of this qualifying sessions, we will go on board with Rocco and see what Rocco can do. As to the line, it's 1 minute 12.5 for Rocco. And now behind him is the Racing Bulls of Nitos, who invalidated. So it won't be Changuzi because Changuzi is on an outlap. DJ Taylor is on an outlap. Daniel is on an outlap. So is Volt, his teammate. So next to the line will be Angelo, 51.7 through the first two sectors. Now coming around the final corner, what can Angelo do on this lap for the Williams team? It's a 1 minute 15.5 in the end. Next up will be the other Mercedes of Bartonic. Bartonic to the line, goes fastest with a 1 minute 12.451. A little bit faster than Rocco was. Now we'll go to the second of the two Red Bulls, Ninzix, 51.7 on the dot through them first two sectors. He's got Fiora just behind. Fiora, championship leader at the moment. Fiora will be wanting to not get caught up behind Ninzix. Ninzix goes 7th. Fiora goes fastest with a 1 minute 11.9, and then Ninzix loses the car into the wall. He did a 1 minute 15.6, slowest time set so far. Janguzi Liam into the pits. Nitos now doesn't look to be on a push lap, in lap by the looks of it, and yet coming into the pits. Daniel, the lead of the two Alpines on the medium compound of tyres at the moment. Rounding that final corner and now to the line, moves into 8th with Volt moving ahead of him with a 1 minute 14.058, 1 minute 14.083 for Volt. DJ Taylor on his lap now as we have Mamedov joining, so we'll be 13 drivers for tonight's Spanish Grand Prix. As we'll just see if either of the Mercedes are going on a lap. It does look like Thomas is on another lap into the line. He improves by 0.3, but not enough to jump up ahead of Rocco, as Bartonic now setting himself up for another lap here. Rocco into the pits, so we'll look at Fiora, who's off in the gravel, coming into the pits. We'll go on board with Ninzix, the Rebel, into the pits. Is Daniel. Daniel's 2 up through the first two sectors, so he could be going for another push here. We've seen it before with Daniel, going for sort of a double push lap. So we'll see as Daniel is actually into the pits. So Daniel not going for a double push, so is his teammate Volt, but DJ Taylor rounding the final corner now. What can the Haas driver do? He moves himself into only 5th position with a 1 minute 12.856. As Bartonic has in fact backed out of his lap, so Liam on an out lap. Now for the Ferrari team. So interesting start to qualifying. Fiora half a second clear of Bartonic at the top of the table so far. So Liam, on his first push lap, he had an invalidated lap, and we'll see what he can do. 21.4 through the first sector, but he has got a little bit of traffic off the Williams in ahead of him. And further back, Nitos starting his lap, 50.5 for Liam through the second sector. And now it's the final sector, and it's pretty much flat out now through the final two corners, through the penultimate corner, keeping it nice and tucked in through the corners. And now it's the drag race to the line, and he goes into second with a 1 minute 12.238. Rocco starting his lap in behind. He does, however. Let's see what the Racing Bulls driver can do. Now onto the back straight he goes into the end of sector 2. It's a 51.3, not as competitive of a sector 2, but we'll see what he can do. Rounding the final corner, foot down to the line, up into 7th with a 1 minute 13.3. So next up is going to be Rocco, who's a 10th up through the middle sector, or through the first two sectors. Finding a 10th, gonna have to find more than that if he wants to challenge for, and he's gone. He's lost the rear of the car through turn 12, and that's unfortunate for Rocco. And that will be resetting, just getting ready to go again. But it does give Mackenboo a chance to go through for his lap, almost 2/10 up through the first two sectors. And it's up to 7th with a 3/10 improvement to 1 minute 13.1. Angelo, the other Williams, up into 8th, 1 minute 13.2. And then Ninzig's up into 10th, 1/10, or remaining in 10th, sorry, with a 1/10 improvement. We now have the two Mercedes out on track on their laps, but we'll go and have a look at Daniel, second up on the softs. What can he do? He moves himself up into 7th with a 1 minute 12.8, 1.2 seconds improvement. Will now go on board with the current provisional pole time. If you're 2 seconds down, he doesn't look to be pushing on this lap. So we'll go on board with Volt. He's got DJ Taylor behind him on an out lap. But what can Volt do? Here, as Liam said, makes a mistake in turn 3. Unfortunate, but Volt seems to be a cooldown lap, not going for a full push lap here. Mackenboo 1.8 down. Angelo doesn't look to be pushing either, so we have the two Mercedes cars now. And we'll keep an eye on what Bartonic can do first, and then what Thomas can do in behind him. Bartonic rounding the final corner to the line, moves into second with a 1 minute 12.1. Thomas up to 4th with a 1 minute 12.2. Rocco down into 5th position now. So the Mercedes car is doing decent out on track so far. Is Daniel on another Porsche? Doesn't look like it. No, Daniel is in the pits now. So what can Fiora do? Fiora 5.9 down, so we'll go on board with DJ Taylor. 10th and a bit up through the first sector. What will be through the middle sector? It's a 4/10 improvement. This is a very good lap so far. And this looks like it could be moving him up into 5th, maybe higher if he gets a good final sector. What can the Haas driver do here today? It's rounding the final corner. And now to the line, it will be 5th position with a 1 minute 12.4, 2/10 off. Thomas ahead of him. And the two Mercedes are on in laps, so no one is setting a current flying lap in qualifying. In fact, Thomas has gone for another lap by the looks of it, so we'll see what he can do on this lap now and see if it's enough to move him up ahead of Williams. Only 0.05 of a second between it, between the two of them, so possibly something can be done here on this lap to jump himself up ahead of Liam, but we'll have to see what this lap brings. We missed the first sector as we were talking, trying to get the standings up for drivers. Middle sector, he's 5 thousandths down. He needs to be 5 thousandths up, but what can this final sector bring? For Thomas as we're into the final 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes left of qualifying now. As he's decided to back out of that lap and is in the pits. Rocco and Ninzix both are. Mahmudev not leaving the pit lane yet in that Sauber. He'll be wanting to leave it at some point and get a lap in this qualifying session. Well, we'll go quiet for a minute and just let us see what Rocco can do through this first sector in a bit. Big moment there for Rocco through turn 3 and just letting Ninzix through and just gonna recharge the battery and get ready for another lap. But Rocco pushing hard to try to get up near the top with Fiora. The 6/10 gap between the two of them, so still a lot of work for Rocco to do. Ninzix 200ths down through the middle sectors. Fiora is about to start his next lap, but Makambu is also out on a push lap, so we'll have a look with the other Red Bull driver in a moment's time. But Ninzix now coming down through the final 2 corners, and let's see what Ninzix can do. As to the line, it's 0.069 improvement, not enough to improve the place. Makambu a 10th up through that first sector. He needs to find 3/10 if he's to challenge Daniel for 7th. As you'll see what this middle sector split is for the Red Bull driver, as it's a 10.5 up, so still not enough to jump a position. He'll open up the gap to Angelo, though, put a bit more pressure on Angelo to have to find the time. Mahmuda is out of the pits now, getting ready for his first lap of this qualifying session. And now around the final corner goes Makambu to the line with 2/10 improvement, so it gets him closer as Fiora looks to be just setting up for another lap. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. Ninzix 5.6 down. Nitos on an out lap. Is anyone on a push lap? Rocco is 200ths up through the first sector, a 10th down through the second sector. So losing time is the Williams car, passing his teammate Angelo there, and let's see what this lap can bring for Rocco. Can he find time through this final sector, down around the final corner, up to the line? It's a 2/10 improvement. It remains P5 though, so not able to jump up any positions, interestingly enough. Thomas is on a lap. Fiora has been validated, so Fiora will have time. Rocco has retired from the session. Fiora will have time to get around and go for another lap, as everyone now is just on everyone is roughly on their last laps, as try to find who the first car out on track will be to cross the line. It will be Ninzix, who's 900ths down, trying to find a bit of time. Nitos is just behind him. No, Ninzix into the pits. Nitos then rounding this final corner will cross the line, invalidating around that final corner, so he's going to have to try to find something on this lap. Thomas 800ths up to the line now. The end of qualifying. finds time, still not enough to jump past his teammates. 1 minute 12.158. Mahmudov will be next, 53.1 through the first 2 sectors. He's got the other Mercedes and Bartonic just behind him. We'll want to see what Mahmudov can do here. He's rounding the final corner to the line. It's 1 minute 15.8. Bartonic at 1 minute 12.3 improves, but not enough. Daniel next, 300 up through the first 2 sectors to the line, remains 7th. Liam next, 10th up to the line, goes provisional pole with a 1 minute 11.949. That puts pressure on Fiora now. Further back though, before Fiora, is going to be the Alpine off Volt, rounding the final 2 corners, and now coming down to the line, pushing it to the line. What will this be? P11 with the 6/10 improvement. Now Fiora 2/10 up to the line. It's 1 minute 11.688 for Fiora. Very good lap. Is Nitos going to have time? No, Nitos is invalidated. That is qualifying over. Fiora takes pole with a 1 minute 11.688. 2.5 tenths over Liam. And then it's Bartonic and Thomas, the 2 Mercedes, on the 2nd row of the grid. An amazing lap though from so confirmation there of qualifying. And now we'll go through the drivers' standings. So, Fiora leads the standings on 33 points, it's Konami on 25, Angelo on 25, Makambu on 22, then it's Capcot in 5th on 21, Liam on 18, Ninzix on 14, there's Thomas James on 12, Daniel on 10, there's Ninja on 8, Nitos on 6, Swolchek on 5, and then Mov, Keegan, Morgan, Hin, Mahmudov and Nico all on 0 points this season so far. So, you'll see who will take the race win today. Will it be Fiora to take the race win? Will it be Liam to take it today? Or will someone like Bartonic or Thomas, maybe even Rocco if he can get a good race better than his qualifying, possibly take it on debut here today in Legends Division? As well as that, it'll be interesting to see what the difference in race strategies is, as we are going to get going in a moment's time here for the Spanish Grand Prix, as we are going to go to the 5 red lights. As lights find away, we're going. It's a very good start for Fiora, and it's a good start as well for Bartonic. And there's a very much mixed strategies today. Bartonic can't capitalise on the good start, as the 2 Mercedes go wheel to wheel, and that is Rocco dropping down the grid as he's facing the wrong way. Volt has also gone off in turn 1. Angelo out of the points, Mahmudov up to 9th from 13th, Daniel down to 8th, Makaru up into 6th. The top 4 however all remain the same, Daniel and Nitos fighting it into turn 5 now. And Nitos is going to try and take Makambu. Nitos has took Makambu. Daniel is now going to try and take Makambu down the inside. Makambu is forced off into the gravel and having to cut that corner, losing out now to Mahmudov as well. But pretty much everyone making it through the first lap so far pretty cleanly, as Angelo is going to look to put himself between the 2 Red Bulls. And then Rocco is going to try to look to follow his teammate through past the Red Bulls as well, and there's very clear difference in strategies here. one of the few tracks where you see a very clear difference. So both of the Red Bulls taking wheel to wheel still. That's not going to help either of them, as Liam, in fact, leads the race now after the first lap. So we'll go through tyres from the start. So Liam, Fiora, Bartonic all on the mediums. Then it's Thomas on the hards. Ethan Good, DJ Taylor behind on the mediums. Then it's Nitos and Daniel on the hards. Mahmoud opting, softs. There's Mahmoud opting for the hard component tyres. Angelo opting for the softs. And it's Macabu on the mediums. Ninsigs and Rocco opting for the soft tyres, and then Volt opting for the medium compound of tyres. But as we see at the top 7 here, breaking away, the Mamudev is a bit of no man's land trying to hang on. And then behind him, Angelo leads that backpack. As in fact, there's carnage further back. And who's that? That's Thomas. And who's the other driver? Daniel. So Thomas and Daniel have made contact. Daniel was off into the wall. Does he have any damage visible? And does Thomas have any visible damage as well? They're sending a 3 wide into turn 10 here. Very, very ballsy there, Thomas. Back there, Daniel does have a missing front end plate, so we'll see what's happened there. Fiora with a new fastest lap of the race, as Fiora and Liam are racing away with this. Fiora will move to the outside, Liam defends the inside. Fiora is going to be squeezed off the track there, and we'll have to give that position back. And now he's got Bartonic right behind him, and Bartonic will move up into second position. And by going wheel to wheel there, it's just forced that to happen. DJ Taylor will try to close down on the top 3 here. He's got Mamudev and Nitos trying to challenge him behind, as there's a Mercedes off, and that's Thomas again. Something's happened to him, and he's having a difficult race after starting so far and high up the grid, as he's now off into the grass. It'll be interesting to see what on earth has gone wrong with that Mercedes in this race so far. As Macabu in 7th, he's got Angelo behind, he's trying to close down on Nitos in the sister team car up ahead. Botonic, Fiora and Jingu and Liam now all in this battle for the podium positions, but if they keep battling like this, it's going to bring DJ Taylor straight into this battle, as he's only, well, he's now within a second off them, and he's got the DRS. So DJ Taylor dragging himself into this battle at the front. Those who started on the softs, all of them are the back 4 on track here. You see Rocco, Daniel and Thomas all having bits of instance. Angelo makes it past Macabu further back on the grid into turn 1. But the soft runners not really making the most of them softs early on. Mamudev on the hards, he's having a very good first stint here. Up into 5th from 13th, and he's going to look to continue to push on and see what he can do in this session. And we'll see. Can Mahmoud defend against Nitos when Nitos starts using them softs to the advantage? Softs don't last very many racing laps on this game, and Fiora's now come under a little bit of pressure from DJ Taylor, and this battle up at the front is starting to spice up a little bit now. And it'll be interesting to see how that works. Nitos picked up the first track limit penalty of this race. And Liam continues to lead, Bartonic trying to put a bit of pressure on him. Rocco, there was a lot of talk before this race, but he's down in 10th position. And he's not putting all that talk to any use here. So the top 4 remains as it is for another DRS straight. We're just in a bit of a train here, but we'll see what they can do as this race progresses as Liam just starting to try and pull away from Bartonic. Fiora now is on the back of Bartonic and he's going to try to put some sort of pressure down into turn 1 further back. That is... who's that? That's Rocco into the pits. So he's dropped down past Ninzix and into the pits now. Daniel also pitting. Is it a case of them softs are not working? It is just a tyre change for the Williams. Hards going on to him. Daniel also putting the hards on and a new front wing as well for the Alpine. She's going to drop a little bit further back, but hopefully it'll be worth it for him. Fiora is now under a lot of pressure from DJ Taylor as he's dropped to almost a second behind. He's closing it in on the straight to Bartonic. So that says that the McLaren has a bit more straight line speed than the Mercedes does. Even just down the straights, these four aren't able to be separated, but they are opening the gap to Mahmudov. Mahmudov, interestingly enough, has opened 2 seconds up to Nitos, so Nitos, all the softs starting to die off, and Mahmudov is going to go longer than everyone else, theoretically, on the hard tyres. And he's just trying to do his best just to stay in a position where it's, it works against the other guys. He's trying to just hold off as much as he can from the cars behind him, just trying to stay in a nice little 2.5-3 second area to those ahead. Interesting to see how that will go. And I'll be interested to see if Rocco and Daniel, who pitted early, are going to go for a 2-stop, or whether they're going to try to take the hards all the way as Nitos running wide on the exit of turn 9 there, on the straight going down towards turn 10. But once again, we'll go back to this battle at the front. As Liam continues to lead from Bartonic, there's Fiora and DJ Taylor in behind him, trying to make something happen. But the exits for Liam are just what's separating him from the rest. He'll go to the inside to defend. Bartonic will look to the outside, but he's nowhere near enough to try and make anything happen. But he's going to try to keep edging closer lap by lap, if he can, to try and make something happen, as Fiora is now trying to put a little bit of pressure on the back of Bartonic. Nothing coming from it as Thomas in the pits. Mediums onto the Mercedes, so he's going from softs to the mediums. So that is hinting towards a possible 2-stop here today. If he went to the hards, it'll be possible 1-stop. Well, most likely it's a 2-stop now with mediums this early on in the race. And he comes out in P12 behind Rocco, ahead of Daniel, just in a bit of no man's land there. And the question is now, will Ride on board with Bodman? Will he have chance this time round to try and make something happen down this main straight? DRS is now open. He's going to try to sit in the toe of Liam, and he's going to be nowhere near as Nitos is in the pits. So once again, they all just remain in order. With Nitos, Angelo and Ninzix all in the pits this time round. So the softs will be on no car after this. Ninzix going onto the mediums, Anitos onto the mediums, Ninzix onto the hards, Angelo onto the hards. So, very much a difference in strategy today, as up ahead then, Volt, yellow flag was out in that first sector for him. Not 100% sure what was going on there, but he's going again and there's no visible damage for the Alpine car. And he's doing the better of the two Alpines as well as Daniel, his teammate tonight. Down in 13th position. He's had a bit of an up and down season through the first couple of rounds, and this is definitely the biggest down for him of the season so far. As Fiora is going in early off the mediums. So Fiora is going to try an undercut on those ahead. Coming in end of lap 9. The medium's going on, so it's a 2-stop for Fiora. Very interesting there. He's going to come out in P7 behind Volt. But the Hungarian going for a 2-stop today. And we'll see how that will work out for him as this race continues. And it's going to be interesting now. Does Liam, does Botonic, does DJ Taylor, do any of them decide to react to it? Mahmudov is pulling himself. He's now only 1.6 away from this top fight. Liam is looking to manage his tyres well here, as he's let the others stay with him, but he's just trying to eke out the gap a little bit. It's now 8 tenths. The last couple of times around, it's been about 6 tenths coming through here. It's now over a second, so he's been managing his tyres well. As neither Botonic nor DJ Taylor behind pit, so no one's reacted to Fiora's early pit stop to go on the 2-stop strategy. They're just sticking to their strategies. Mahmudov now just seeing what he can do. Can he pull himself into this battle? That's the question which he wants to have an answer for. As well as that, does Mahmudov go for a 2-stop strategy today? As we are on lap 11 of 33. Once this lap's completed, we'll be a third of the way through this Grand Prix. As Thomas, 1 minute 14.957, new fastest lap of the race so far. He's sitting down in 10th position at the minute. He's behind Rocco and trying to close that gap down to Rocco. And talking about closing gaps down, Rocco is trying to close it down to Nitos, but here Botonic is out of DRS range and DJ Taylor is within DRS range. Mahmudov behind is almost in DRS range of them. So the hard's starting to come to life now compared to the mediums. As we ride on board with DJ Taylor, Fiora making a pass forward further back because Fiora's up to 6th. And now Botonic without DRS. Mahmudov is now in DRS range. DJ Taylor had a look to the inside, then decided against it. But will push Botonic through turn 1 and 2 there. So DJ Taylor trying to carry more speed through the corners. Mahmudov now well within DRS range. And then means Mackenboo 12 seconds behind. Fiora is trying to close the gap down to Mackenboo. Fiora going for a 2-stop here. Gonna have to try and just manage the gaps. Just remember, it's still early in the season. There's not huge gaps between the people in the championships. This championship leader, he's gonna need to have a bit of luck on his side to remain championship leader, or to at least not have a massive chunk of that lead taken out of him. As we now we'll see as once again they've come around and DJ Taylor into the pits. So end of lap 11, DJ Taylor third of the way through this race. Oh sorry, end of lap 12, over a third of the way through this race. And now decided into the pits, and how much will he lose to Fiora? That's a big question. It's gonna be a hefty amount as mediums as well, so DJ Taylor committing to a 2-stop like Fiora. And he's going to come out behind Volt. But importantly, he should come out ahead of Nitos. It's not going to be far behind Volt either. He's going to be within DRS nearly. So, that's that. But up in the lead, Mahmudov starting in 13th. is in third, and he's putting pressure on Bartonic now. Half a second the gap. And we're going into the DRS zones now. Mudev had a little look at the inside, decided against to wait until the main straight to try and make something happen. Now, does Liam or Bartonic react to the pit stop? Fiore is already within a second off Macamboo and putting pressure on Macamboo. Only a couple of laps ago he made the move on Volt. DJ Taylor making the move on Volt now. Bartonic does not pit. We'll keep an eye further back on Fiore and Macamboo in a second. But Mahmudov is going to look down the inside into turn 1 and makes the move up into second place. Fiore has made the move into fourth as Macamboo is in the pits. And let's see what Macamboo goes on to tyre wise here. As hard onto Macamboo, so Macamboo possibly going for one stop now. And we'll keep an eye on that as the race continues. But Macamboo, where will he come out in fact actually? That's the interesting and important part for him. He's going to come out just ahead of Angelo in 10th position. But Angelo on the warm tyres will try to use them to an advantage here on Macamboo. Macamboo is going to have to get heat in them hard tyres, which isn't an easy task to be done. And it looks as if Macamboo will remain ahead. Further up the front though, he's just had his lead slightly into, and he is in the pits now. So Mahmudov takes the lead of the race, but Bartonic is also in the pits. So the medium runners now making the dive into the pits. And what tyres will they put on? Liam onto the hard tyres, sorry. Bartonic onto the hards. Fiore has undercut both of them, but remember, we'll need to pit again in this race. That'll be interesting now. Can Fiore open up a pit stop gap to them? Is the 2-stop, in fact, the faster strategy? 6.3 out of DJ Taylor, who pitted a few laps after him. DJ Taylor has also jumped them by 5 seconds, so it's about 11 seconds Fiore has gained over Liam and Bartonic by going for the undercut. And now it's time to see if the 2-stop or the 1-stop is going to be the smarter strategy, assuming that Liam and Bartonic are on a 1-stop. Of course they could be on a 2-stop, medium, hards, mediums for example, going long on that first stint. That's a possibility. There's a different possible strategy to go on here today. Nitos further back, making it past Volt struggling for grip now. He's been out on the medium since the start of the race. He should be pitting any time now, theoretically, as we say that, and he's in the pits. So we'll see what tyres the Alpine team opt to put onto their car here. And it does look as if he's going out balancing onto the hard tyres, so yeah, hard tyres as pretty much expected there. And it does look as if, yeah, he will come out a fair chunk behind his team, who's been on hards for 10 laps now. But Mahmudov on hards for 15 laps of this race leads the Grand Prix at the moment, but he's got Fiore chasing him down. We say chasing him down. Mahmudov is in some parts opening the gap, then Fiore is closing the gap. It's a bit of one of them situations right now. But when does Mahmudov pit? If he's going for the 1-stop, you'd suspect he'll go over half this race and then pit. That's what you'd expect if he's on the 1-stop. If he's on a 2-stop, then God knows. As we go further back, Angelo is under a little bit of pressure from him. He's sandwiched between the two Red Bulls at the moment. and he's going to want to try and make something happen. He's going to try to close the gap to Makabu first and not have the same pressure as he's having in the minute from Ninzix. Ninzix isn't able to make a count though, possibly due to Angela maybe burning battery down the straight. We won't have a look at batteries as Rocco Thomas wheel to wheel here. Thomas losing out on 7th position to Rocco there, but Rocco will have to pose. Rocco picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Unfortunate there for Rocco. But Thomas will continue to try and put a little bit of pressure on those ahead of him. And now Thomas is going to make the move down into turn 1, and he makes the move well and truly before the first corner. Thomas up ahead, back into 7th position. Rocco dropping once again into 8th. Further up ahead though, Botonic is on the back of Liam now. Liam in 4th, Botonic in 5th. Let's see how this battle pans out. So both Mercedes drivers currently at battle. One with a Ferrari and one with a Williams. As Mahmudov is now in, and where will he come out? Most importantly, 18 laps done on the hards. He's dropped to he's gone to mediums. He's gonna come out at best in 5th place. Yeah, he will come out 5th, and he's gonna come out just behind this battle for 3rd now. So he's gone long and he's come out just behind this battle. That's very interesting, as it's well and truly within his grasp to take them mediums to the end of this race now on lower fuel, so less tyre wear. So we'll see what is going to happen. Podium now could end up being anyone. Fiora is trying to open the gap up to the likes of Liam, Botonic, Mahmudov here. They're his real threats in this race. It's the yellow flag, and that is Rocco, who's off track there. No visible damage for the Williams driver, so possible a little bit of a coming together between him and Thomas in their battle for 7th, but he's now going to come under a little bit of pressure from Makabu in a lap or two's time if he can't get back up to Thomas. In fact, Rocco is in the pits. He's done 13 laps and now he's in the pits, and let's see what he decides to go into. A smart choice would be the mediums here, and it is the mediums. So he has gone with the smart choice, and he has gone for the medium tyres, and he's going to come out down in 13th behind the two Alpines. Daniel, you'd suspect now will be pitting in the next few laps, seeing Rocco, who pitted at the same time as him, come into the pits just now. As well, Nitos and Thomas, they've both been out pretty long on their medium tyres, so you'd expect them to be in. Talking about Thomas, actually, Thomas has had something happen. Looks like he's just made a bit of a mistake there. He's lost out to Makambu. He's still ahead of Ninzix. Doesn't look like any visible damage, but a costly mistake perhaps for him. It's not sure what happened there. Fiora is now in the pits, is now onto the hard tyres, and pulling out of the pits, will pull out in 5th position. And with 3 ahead of him, battling it out for 2nd place, and what could be the lead and win of this race, or what could be the win of this race, the provisional lead of this race, that's the words I was looking for. With these 3 battling for the provisional lead, anything can happen as Angelo, Thomas, Nitos, Ola and Nitos onto mediums. Thomas onto mediums, what will Angelo go on to? Onto mediums as well, so those 3 all onto the medium compound of tyres. And let's just see what happens. In fact, Nitos out of the pit has spun it at turn 1. Very interesting place to have a moment like that. Not 100% sure what happened to Nitos there, but the provisional lead battle is up here. And Mahmudov having a look. Well, sorry, with a little look to try and make something happen, but not able to do so. That time round. DJ Taylor could be pitting any time now, theoretically. He's opening up to 7 seconds over them, whereas Daniel is now in the pits and will most likely be going to the medium amount of tyres. I suspect he does go to the mediums. He's going to come out in last place, but let's see what can happen as this continues. And DJ Taylor remains out. Botonic is having to defend a lot against Mahmudov now. Mahmudov does make it up past Botonic. Botonic dropping down into 4th position. Mahmudov using the mediums to his advantage at this stage in the race. And now, if he can close into Liam and do something similar against Liam, it's going to be interesting. So, interesting. Ninzix is in the pits onto mediums, so Thomas now 1 minute 14.7, new fastest lap of this Grand Prix. And this time is Liam's turn to try defending against Mahmudov. We'll go on board with Mahmudov. There's now a lot of pace down this main straight, and he's going to once again move to the outside. Liam's going to try and defend it. Liam does defend it better than Botonic did. Better than Botonic did, and Mahmudov is not able to move himself up into the provisional race lead. Mahmudov is right on the back of Liam on 3 turns 7, 8 and 9. But he's also got Botonic on his tail. And anything can happen between these two and between these 3 in this battle. As the main straight is the main DRS main DRS zone, main overtaking zone. There's that one between turns 9 and 10, it's only short. Let's now see, can Mahmudov make a move on Liam this time around? He's going to be a lot closer this time around, and there's a bit of wheel scraping between the two of them. Liam's going to try and defend and hold it down the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Mahmudov goes off, and there's a little bit more contact between the two of them. Botonic just sitting in behind, trying to hope that he can capitalize on any mistake from either of them, but very aggressive defense from Liam. As Mahmudov had a low look at the inside and decided against it. But this is all helping Fiora. And Mahmudov is going to be getting a little bit frustrated with this. He's tried twice now, and twice he's just been squeezed off, but this is all bringing Fiora straight back into this fight. And now, Mahmudov once again, DRS open, you're right on board, DJ Taylor in the pits. All this battle will have helped him out a bit. And they're going to go wheel to wheel again. Mahmudov this time remains in the lead. And Botonic there tried to have a little look on the outside of the Ferrari and decided against it. DJ Taylor though, on to the soft tyres as Botonic almost went for it down the inside there, going deep in the end, avoiding contact with the Ferrari. And Rocco, who started 5th, has pulled himself back up to 7th in this race. But Fiora, who's done the 2-stop compared to the 1-stop of these three, is right on the back of them now. And, more importantly, on fresher tyres compared to them. So, these four, and maybe DJ Taylor if he can pull it back in his last 7 laps. It's going to be an interesting battle for the race win on our hands here now. Mahmudov has already broken the DRS 1.1 ahead of Liam. Liam leads this train, chasing down the lead now. As Fiora does look to be the faster car compared to Botonic, and Fiora doesn't go for a move down into turn 1, decides against it, and smartly decides against it in fact. As Fiora moved to the inside, trying to make something happen this time around, just trying to find a gap, decides this time that he will go for the move and down to the inside as there's contact with Botonic. Botonic tried to look back in, Botonic dropping down to 4th but remaining importantly in the DRS range, and Fiora now all over the back of Liam as Liam is dropping further and further away from Mahmudov. At the moment it's a Mahmudov win on the cards, but Fiora, with the pace he's showing at this stage in the race, is wanting to change that and go on to win this Grand Prix himself. And as I've said a couple of times already in this race, anything can happen here. All these four, even DJ Taylor, if he can pull some sort of miracle off, is in with a chance of this race win. These 5 have just been on a different level today as Fiora now to the outside. DJ Taylor fastest lap of the race, 1:13.8. Liam's going to try to defend it again like he did before, and he's into the wall, off into the wall, trying to find a way back. And no puncture, but down to 5th with end plate damage, and there's 10-second penalty for severe collision with DJ Taylor, and that could be looked at by the stewards, but it could also be viewed as an unsafe rejoin, perhaps knowing DJ Taylor was coming around. But Fiora now 3 seconds of Mahmudov, time to put the foot down and try and find something, as Liam now is off the track once again. Not sure what's happened that time round, but we'll be trying to find his way back into possible podium contention in this race. Botonic with a penalty, DJ Taylor without. If he can get close enough, he can nick a podium position. But Fiora is already closing the gap to Mahmuda, but he's going to have to close it by a lot more than that. To lap 29. 5 laps remaining. He's going to have to close it by around 6/10 a lap just to be level. More actually. Let's go safe and say about 7/10 a lap. Jinguzi, Liam retiring in the pits. So the Ferrari driver out of this race on lap 28 of 33, entering lap 29. Fiora doing a very good job here at closing the gap down to Mahmuda, and further back those yellow flags out in turn 3. And Fiora is flying this lap. The gap was 3.2 at the start of the lap. It's down to 2.2 at the end. Bartonic has been left in the dust here. Bartonic is going to come under pressure from DJ Taylor. In fact, so Fiora chasing down Mahmuda praying that something will happen to the McLaren to give him his first win in CRL. But let's see what will happen. Anything can happen in the end. So as Volta's off, what's happened to that Alpine driver? He's facing the wrong way, so he's had a spin through turn 12 and has dropped, and looks to be missing 2 end plates. So that's unfortunate for Volt and the Alpine today. Fiora this lap, another half-second. Volt retiring from the session. But Fiora this time round finding about 6/10 a lap. As Bartonic is in fact in the pits on lap 30, going on to 31 off 33. Interesting, he should come out ahead of Mackenboo comfortably. But can Mackenboo then try to close that in the gap and get within penalty range? That's the interesting part to think about here. DJ Taylor up into third will be looking to take his first podium of the Legends Division season. Mahmuda will be looking to take his first podium and first win of the season. Fiora will be looking to extend his lead at the top of the championship. Daniel makes a pass in N6 P9. That's not where we want to focus on here. Mackenboo will have a look at penalties quickly. Not quite in penalty range. He needs another 3 seconds over Bartonic. Bartonic going to the medium tyres. And Mahmuda is just starting to kick it into another gear this time round. Fiora only gaining a couple of tenths of a second. And with 2 laps to go, Fiora needs to find a lot in 6 3-second time penalty for track limits infringements. Now let's see what Fiora can do in these last 2 laps. Realistically, needs to get in DRS this lap round. Obinogu getting it at that back straight DRS zone next lap. Needs to get DRS this lap. And is within a second and will get DRS this time round. So we're right on board with the McLaren. We'll get first hand view of this battle as the gap is below half a second now. Mahmuda harvesting battery to try and defend down the main straight. Fiora also harvesting through there to try to give an extra little boost along with the DRS down the main straight next time. 4 tenths as we round the final corner with 3 tenths, about 4 tenths as we go into the final lap of the race. Either of these can win it. It's going to be one of these unless they have a big crash. Fiora doesn't go for any move down into turn 1. Decides, no, not going to risk it. We'll go for it in the next overtaking opportunity, which is into turn 5 if he can set the move up. Sits in behind Mahmudov through turn 4, gets a little bit of a nicer run through turn 4 in fact, and no, doesn't go for it into turn 5. I thought for a second he was going to. Decides, no, not the place to make the move. So the next overtaking opportunity is the run down with the DRS into turn 10. And that's realistically the last overtaking opportunity on this lap, as it's a good exit. DRS is open, and can Fiora make it? No, doesn't go for a move. Could have gone for a desperate lunge. Mahmudov going deep, but Fiora can't capitalize on it, and it looks like it is going to be Mahmudov who wins in Spain. Unless something drastic happens around this final corner. But no, Mahmudov will go from last up to first and win in Spain. Fiora, who took pole 3 tenths behind and only finishes in second. Someone has gone off further back. Rocco has gone off and retires on the last lap. But DJ Taylor finishes in third. Very good race from him on the 2-stop strategy, medium, soft. Bartonic will finish in 4th position. Then it's going to be the other Mercedes of Thomas. They started on the second row together. They'll finish 4th and 5th. And Thomas will just edge out of Macamboo, who finishes in 6th position, 4 tenths behind him. Then it's going to be Nitos, who finishes in P7. Now, Daniel has just made it past Angelo, down through there. Ninzix is just behind him, but he's got penalties, so Daniel will finish 8th, Angelo 9th, and Ninzix will finish 10th. So DJ Taylor took fastest lap, most overtakes to Mahmudov, drive for the day to Mahmudov, and race winner was Mahmudov. But that is everything today. I just don't have him mad at all. I'll add him in a minute. But Mahmudov wins. There's Fiora and DJ Taylor rounding off the podium. There's Bartonic, Thomas, Macamboo, Nitos, Daniel, Angelo, and Ninzix in the top 10. Then we lost Rocco, Volt, and Liam along the way. That is everything for today's race. We will be back next Monday when we head to the streets of Azerbaijan for the Baku Grand Prix. Until then, have a good morning, evening, or afternoon, and goodbye.